Welcome back to CooklyEats. Today I'm showing you how to take Dollar Tree ingredients and transform them into meals that look and taste gourmet, all on a budget. And let me tell you, we are just getting started. All right, friends, the first hack is going to start off simple because we're tackling that pantry staple that I think everybody has at home, and that's dry pasta. You probably think that there's not much that you can do with basic old spaghetti, but just wait until you see this dish come together because it's so easy. It's so delicious, and it really does look like something that came from a restaurant, but it was made on a dime and didn't break the bank. So if you guys are ready to get started, go ahead and grab that bag of spaghetti, and let's jump right in. Now, I already have my water boiling here on the stove, and when it comes to cooking pasta, I always like to add a generous amount of salt to the water to season the pasta while it cooks. Now, this recipe is going to take a little bit of time to fully cook, so I'm going to show you the process by using voiceover. But I do want to point out that you can double or even triple this recipe if you're serving a crowd. The other thing that I like to do if I know that I'm filming this recipe is that I put the entire bag of spaghetti into the strainer to drain. That way, I don't have to use multiple bowls to collect the pasta. And it also makes it really easy to transfer the pasta straight from the pot into the pan, where I'm going to toss it with the sauce. While the pasta is cooking away, go ahead and peel and devein your shrimp. If you've never done this before, I do have an entire video on how to clean and prepare shrimp, but to save time, I'm going to be using already cleaned and peeled shrimp for today's recipe. Once your shrimp is ready to go ahead and add it to the pan on low heat. Now, I'm using butter for the base of this sauce, but feel free to substitute that with olive oil or avocado oil if you prefer. And then I'm adding in a couple cloves of garlic. Now, I usually like to mince my garlic, but for the sake of saving time, I am actually using a store-bought minced garlic. Then you're going to sprinkle in a little bit of Italian seasoning and red pepper flakes for some heat. Feel free to add whatever seasonings that you love. And then once the shrimp is pink and fully cooked through, you're going to remove it from the pan and set it to the side while you finish up the sauce. Now, I do like to strain some of that pasta water out and add it to the pan. That way the sauce will thin out a little bit and it will coat the pasta better. Now, I'm going to add in half of the cooked shrimp, and then I'm going to toss the pasta in the sauce. I'm just using a regular old pasta fork to combine everything. And then I'm going to top it with some parsley and the rest of the shrimp. And there you have it. This really does look like a fancy shrimp pasta dish, doesn't it? And it's so good. Like, I'm telling you, this dish is amazing, but I promise you that the best is yet to come. So stick around because we have 4 more Dollar Tree ingredient hacks to tackle. Hack number 2 involves taking these little biscuit things that you can buy at the Dollar Tree and turning them into pizza. Now, I've seen this done with refrigerated biscuits before. But as a matter of fact, I tried it last week with the refrigerated biscuits. And they were honestly kind of hard to work with. They were kind of tough. They wouldn't really roll out. But these canned biscuits, oh my word, they were so soft, so easy to work with, and they tasted so good. In fact, I might actually prefer these over the refrigerated biscuits because they were just so easy to roll out. So what you're going to do is you're going to press each biscuit down to flatten it out a little bit. And then you're going to roll it out like you would pizza dough. Now, I did find that the more that I worked with the dough, the softer it got. So I was actually able to just use my hands to kind of pat out the biscuits instead of rolling them out. After you have even pieces, go ahead and roll them out on your baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and then you're going to roll out a thin layer of cheese, and then you're going to top it with marinara sauce. I like to use the store-bought marinara sauce because it's so good. And then I added a couple sprinkles of Italian seasoning on top of the sauce. And then lastly, I topped it with pepperoni and mozzarella cheese. And then I baked it in a preheated oven to 400 degrees for about 12 minutes. I mean, these little pizzas turned out so cute, and they were so fun to make. And they're perfect for parties. They're cheap, they're fast, and they're absolutely delicious. All right, friends, hack number 3 has to do with ramen noodles. And I promise you, this isn't your average ramen noodle hack. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people doing this ramen noodle hack where they take the ramen noodles and they kind of fry them up with some oil and seasonings and then serve it with an egg on top. And that looks really good. And I will be trying that at some point. But today I wanted to share a different ramen noodle hack with you guys. So if you could go ahead and boil your ramen noodles according to the package instructions. While the noodles are boiling away, go ahead and separate them into 2 portions. I'm going to save 1 portion of the ramen noodles to use later. But you'll need about half of the ramen noodles for today's recipe. Once the noodles are cooked through, go ahead and toss them in a bowl. And then you're going to add in some peanut butter. Now, I'm using a good quality natural peanut butter without any added sugars or oils. And then you're going to add in some soy sauce for savory saltiness. And then you're going to add in some chili flakes for heat. I like to use the Korean chili powder, but you can use regular chili powder or paprika. And then lastly, add in about half cup of the ramen broth. And then toss everything together. Again, this really does look like something that came from a restaurant, but it took less than 5 minutes to make. And it tastes so good. It's creamy, it's nutty, it's spicy, it's savory, and it really does look like something that you would order at a restaurant. It's so good, and it's definitely a must-try. And if you're looking for more Asian-inspired recipes, make sure you check out my Asian Cooking Basics playlist, where I share 7 easy Asian recipes that you can make. All right, friends, hack number 4 has to do with frozen veggies. Now, I like to keep frozen veggies on hand at all times because they are so convenient and they're a great way to sneak in some extra veggies. But sometimes I get tired of eating them steamed or sautéed. So this hack is a great way to switch it up. All you're going to do is throw your frozen vegetables in the pan on medium heat. For today's recipe, I'm using frozen broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, and snap peas, but you can use whatever frozen vegetables that you love. After the veggies have softened a little bit, you're going to add in some soy sauce and garlic, and then you're just going to toss everything together. As the veggies continue to soften, you're going to add in some toasted sesame oil for that rich, toasty flavor, and then you're going to sprinkle it with sesame seeds on top. And there you have it. This is such a simple side dish that looks like it came from a restaurant. It's colorful, it's fresh, and it's a great way to switch up your veggie game. And now for the final hack, I saved a special one for last because this is the most decadent, rich, and fancy hack of them all, and it's definitely one that you're going to want to save for dessert. Now, I like to keep these cheap chocolate bars on hand for hot cocoa in the wintertime, but I realize that they could be used for so much more. So what you're going to do is you're going to melt down the chocolate bars in the microwave in 30-second increments, stirring in between to make sure that it doesn't overheat. Once the chocolate has completely melted, go ahead and pour it into your muffin batter. And then you're going to place it in the oven. And after they bake for 18 minutes, you're going to remove them from the oven and let them cool off before you cut them open. And then once you cut them open, you should have this beautiful molten lava cake with the ooey, gooey chocolate center. Well, there you have it. 5 hacks to turn ordinary Dollar Tree basics into gourmet-style meals. And if you're looking for more easy dinner hacks, make sure you check out my Easy Dinners playlist. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.